especially on the opening one on Skyline, where I was able to commentate their match yesterday versus Atlanta, and they beat the living hell out of them, but just dominating off the rotations, setting up off of that first wave of the hold, and just playing it to perfection, losing the final 10 seconds. If you're going to play like that, always just a step ahead, you're going to stand a pretty good chance. But Boston, on the other hand, they've been trying to add a new map to their map pool, and Skyline has been a lot played for them as well.
Yeah, lots of reps for the Boston Breach here, but like you mentioned, the last 3 wins for Vegas in this map have all been blowouts, honestly. So we'll see if they can make it now 4 in a row on their chance for hopefully playoff, or not playoff, but winners bracket hopes for Major 3 as we head towards Florida. Opening already very solid. Exnid working on routes towards the left side of the map. Shut down, but Pred picks it up, and now we got to scramble for the left side as we head over to P2.
Oh, that is a perfect break off. Like, Exnid just breaks off through Top Cat, walks through 3 different individuals on the side of Boston, and are individually now able to flip those spawns just because of his play. So 30 seconds to account for. You already take it at P1, 15 still to fight for Boston, trying to at least take this time and take some space away, because Vegas currently have Rotos for new.
Yeah. And they've got 3 eliminations in the feed as well on top of that. Cammy able to stop the bleeding for a moment while the spawners start to pop up for Boston, but they're not able to get across the map in any form. So P2 is going to open up to the Vegas Falcons. You got one immediate route being hit through Purge's position, though, and maybe a chance for him to surprise Boston, but a nice turn from Exnid. We see it kind of in cinematic form, and that's going to be enough for Vegas to hold on to the initial time here at 2.
Yeah, this is why Vegas is so good at this map. They win the rotation, they set up for the first wave of gunfights to come on in, and they always start off in the kill feed, and they also put themselves in a position to almost dominate it. But now it's on Exnid, the only player still alive on this side of the map, but with that 1 kill, 2 teammates spawn right next to him, you should be still able to hold on.
Yeah, nice shot here from Exit. Just a couple of shots into the hard point. Waits for his teammate to follow up behind that, and that will be Pred for 2. Snoopy up top, still creating an opportunity to try to maybe hit this if you're Boston in the last 20 seconds, but they need to do so very carefully, because you've already got Vegas making moves over towards 3. The shutdown of the hit is there, and we got a very convincing opening scoreline with Boston trying to find ground over towards the 3rd hill.
Yeah, they're trying to rotate over towards the new one, and now RCD's contesting through the middle of the map with an opening kill. Giving some information to his team. They're set up around the desk, finds one at least onto Awakening, but better trades there from Boston. Still allowed him to stabilize at this moment, but Exeter just flies on in, catches a double. Vegas technically win their rotation, and they're continuously running up that score.
Yeah, they have won every moment of this game to this point, Jay. I mean, this has been as convincing as we've seen anyone play Skyline at this moment of the season. Red shut down, but a hell of a start, 10-2. X did the same thing, just 10-5. So now we look over to the ARs for Vegas, see if they can catch a little bit of heat. Not there. Snoopy and the rest of Boston gang just run right through this setup, and that's going to be a full 4-man feed. Boston in control.
Boston trading out effectively, still holding on to the P3. Now you want to try to get aggressive to create a different layer, but Vegas, they have cut their losses. Everyone hitting through top plat. Snoopy is not going to be aware of it, at least in time, and he's going to get overwhelmed. Now the pressure is here for the break, and you already lost the spawns.
Yeah, but Cammy on 4 in a row has held on to the hard point. Still 10 seconds to fight. Boston now a chance to make their move over to the right side of the minimap, but Vegas have backed up and are going to be playing this very tactful, very carefully on the backside of P4 through patio, trying to get a reception on where Boston is hitting from, and it's largely all going to be from the front. Can't be able to open things up. Purge into the hard point, and now if you're Vegas, you defaulted to playing for this very safe rotation. You got to find a way to make it happen.
Oh yeah, you got to hold on to these gunfights towards the back end. Priesta only able to line up 2, but he's going to get overwhelmed. And now Boston's still in a sticky situation because the close spawns don't come on in. So you need to clutch up on the next wave of gunfights. You go 1 for 1. Last man standing is going to be Snoopy, but his teammates are nowhere near. Vegas are making this mixy. They take the back, and this might be all their time.
Yeah, put a note in that moment right there halfway through this P4 about how this game may turn, because for Boston, you get the breakthrough and shut down what Vegas were trying to do for the early rotation. You get split spawns. You have a 5 or 2v2 essentially right on the 50-yard line in the middle of the map. But yeah, Exnet just pops up spawns because there's no one blocking in the back. Boston able to crack back in for the scrap time. 10 seconds to fight, and Pred is just kind of stuck here, having to force this, and he will be shut down. So Boston able to kind of get back in and mitigate some of the loss that they faced there in the halfway point of that P4, and we got a 30-point game.
Yeah, it's a big response there out of Boston from the end of that P3 to a little bit of that P4 to now only be down by 30. They're starting off with this initial time here at P1, but getting too aggressive over towards bedroom and not blocking that spawn allows Priesta to spawn behind you. Now you got to have someone account for him. Thankfully, Awakening already in the right position, and your teammates are still clutching up in the one-on-ones to still hold on.
Hardpoint goes neutral for now, though. Hellstorm going to be called in. Pred just drops that to bottom bedroom and then gets shut down as soon as he puts the tablet down. Purge with the last shots up top. as a 1v1 with Arsenes.
What?
And well, yeah, I don't know that. We've seen a couple of Purge dive-throughs from Top Catwalk that have been impressive. That one was anything but, and Arsenes is just like, all right, thank you very much. And Boston will be now looking for another break attempt as they're getting pushed back from the P2 side of the map at the same time.
Yeah, that was crazy right there at the Purge. Trying to be Superman in a one-on-one gunfight. Arcee's just sitting there like, all right, buddy, I'll take the freebie. That now leads to Vegas still holding on to the remaining time here at P1, and now Arcee's on 5 in a row before getting shut down. But at least if you're Boston, you are in a position to soak up this P2. You were only able to get 6 seconds last go around. You're in the rotation. You already shut down the first wave. Here comes the second wave through kitchen.
And you see that nice little graphic splashing across the scene in terms of how things went last time we were here. Boston, though, already better on rotation and perfect in their hold. Spawns are good, so all 4 members of the breach pop up and get ready to receive the next hit.
How do Vegas decide to set this up? Because the ARs are holding them back from top plat. Awakening's finding freebies across the map. Your SMGs are creating extra layers, and you're still hard blocking the back spawns. So Purge can just get loose. Continue to fry on their side of the map on 4 in a row. You're potentially going to have a lead change because Vegas can't even contest this. You're forced to get this one up and hit the early roto.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous moment in the map right now for Vegas after the hot start from the SMGs. Not finding really a single point on P2. Now puts Boston in control on the scoreboard. Purge 6 in a row, really getting things together with Cammy supporting over the middle of the map, and Purge onto his usual stuff that he's had throughout this major. Gets to 7 in a row before being shut down, but the creation of space is well achieved now as Boston look to set up inside the kitchen.
Yeah, and if you're Vegas, like, you got to be able to set up properly. And like, you're giving up that time with about 30 seconds to go. We should put ourselves in the best ideal setup. We should outnumber anyone that's trying to individually rotate, but Purge is going on a 7th streak. Never gave them an opportunity, because at that point, you don't want to contest towards bar. You need to make sure you're maintaining over towards Cobble, and they were just simply outnumbered on every single one of those gunfights because he just made it happen. Now you're breaking in, but the spawns have already flipped because Boston are contesting you, but thankfully you handled that situation.
Yeah, and keep in mind the slowdown from Vegas on the SMG front, but while things start to move through the back time of this P3 over to 4, Boston are being tested as we jump into a Boston breach. Listen it.
Live, I'm coming, Joe. Yeah, nice. He's holding back left. Okay, I can't be real time. He's back to back in the spread that in the back. Shot to the boys. Yeah, we can first one. I'm shooting boys. I'm shooting. Are you pushing? Up left. One shot. Yeah, okay, you're in top flat. One's one P1 boys. One flat, one's one P2 and fucking top flat. Yeah, I'm shooting bottom bed. I didn't hit him bottom bed. One time. With what I said that, one shot. Okay, happily some have a shooting. Back right, weak. Back right, weak, Alec. Yeah, go on. It's on top side. Hold him from you. Trap on top side. It's still no boys. Okay, there's some bread I know, bro. You're still going a little bit. Okay, they're gonna go right. Be top mid of you, okay? Yeah, I'm trying to help you, Evan. I'm going to push you, push Evan. I got native, bro. I'm getting on top. I got on top. I got your top, bro. Oh, yeah, back low bed. Season chat. Nice, good, bro. I'm about to hear top left. Okay, yeah. I'm going with walk, guys. Okay, I just got on the right. Okay. On the right. They're on that. Yeah, okay, someone's right inside. Low bed, priest. You're not running it. Low bed, priest. That's top wall. Top wall. Get me on time, bro. Yeah.
Lean forward here, friends. We're getting close to what could be a photo finish to open up our Easter Sunday. 208-195. Boston still in control of P1. Could switch the lead, but most importantly, they've got P2 set up really nicely to their back.
Yeah, big shout out to Boston for slaying the way that they had, though, because those 2 cruise missiles, the first one didn't really get anything done at the P4, but the second one definitely has been felt. So where Vegas can no longer win it at the P1, Boston breached that 190 point mark and now are banking on a complete setup here at P2 because they are fully set up off the roto. Oh no.
Route trying to come through on patio, but at the same time, Priest is down low, gonna pop up through the elevator shaft. That's gonna be enough for an immediate flip here at 2, leaving Joe by himself, and the pistol win is in. Help is on the way, but a lot of it is coming over towards the P1 side or through the vent as well, as it's taking a lot of time, but the SMG's opening things up, and a chance to flip things back again as Boston win the gunfights.
Oh my God, Awakening, big shout out to you for just drawing so much attention with only a pistol. Like, he finds one kill, you're forced to reposition to find that trade, and then it opens up lanes for your SMGs just to fly through the front door. You can still close it out here. Vegas had to try to contest. You got a little bit of space over here towards Kitchen, but Cammy cuts down 2. Awakening there for the 3rd. This is their last hurrah, last push.
And it's all going to happen through hot tub side or top catwalk. Not exactly what you want. Funneling into a choke point, but the first 2 kills are in. They find a way to get them out of the hard point and actually flip things around just a touch. So it'll stop at 241. Look at the minimap. As we head down towards the locked hard point at Kitchen, it's going to be just a foot race. 50-50 battle over the top. 223, 241. Here we go.
Yeah, Vegas start off in the kill feed. Excellent is able to line up a triple. So they're initially going to soak up a lot of time here. Basically, going to have a tie game until Boston are able to contest this. They're trying to drop down from the middle of the map. You got pin spawns galore going on. Yep. This is the one wave you need to hold down.
Priesta, oh, big double for Priesta. Shuts down one side of the play. Exit on the other. It's a double for Exit. Could be the winning play. Awakening for 2. RC just needs to stay down and not scam. And he's just able to sneak under the bar. What a comeback. What a break of P2. And Vegas will continue to be perfect on Skyline this stage.
Unbelievable performance there from Vegas Falcons. The way that they were able to manage everything that was thrown at them when we got to the later half of the game. The Hellstorms getting invested, not being early off the rotation towards the Money Hill at P4. They were able to soak up a lot of time there where Boston invested everything and basically get nothing. But that chance right there kept you in this game because Boston, the way that they were slaying, you had multiple Hellstorms. You were able to invest another one at the P1 to give yourself a little bit of a cushion going in towards the P2, but it was just the one last push. Once they got shut down through Kitchen, they had to commit through top hallway. They found the opening kills. They found the opening double, find that break, and then instantly hit the rotation over towards you to set up at the new one. And then when Exit off the rotation is popping 3, you're going to stand a pretty good chance at holding down that first wave and then preparing yourself a lot better for the second. Falcons ice up on the Skyline again. 4-0 on the stage, but 1-0 in this series.
There's something to look at. I think like halfway through that P2 that Boston are in control, they start to kind of rotate out and try to play over through the middle of the map as if they're trying to move the spawns to be on the P4 side of the map as we start to get to close to P3. And it's just like, you have a chance to win the game on 2. And if you don't, you can just flood, find some sort of a pinch setup in the middle of the map, and you just need maybe 1 or 2 seconds at P3. But there's a moment in there where they try to like play the game as if it's the first rotation of hills, and they're almost trying to get like the P4 side of the map, which is just, the game's not gonna go that long. I don't know if there's just some sort of a miscue there or what had happened, but regardless of that macro decision, you have to give a lot of credit to Vegas for finding a way to crack on in right there towards the end of P2 before the game could come to an end. I mean, 9 seconds away from it, and then you just win rotation, you win the middle of the map. You don't allow Boston to ever really get a setup because of how you spread out on both sides of the hard point, and you see what happens. Both the last 2 players that are there for Vegas find double kills. So electricity in the air here for Sunday as Vegas will find their first map win in the series. And now we go to a rewind, search, and destroy, which to just completely rub a little bit of salt in the wounds and take us down a notch. Vegas got absolutely dominated here when they played up against FaZe. Whereas for Boston, the rewind was a map that they had, I think, trusted quite a bit at the beginning of the year. We talked about that when we first had a chance to cast them at the beginning of the stage, and they still looked good on this map. So you had to be feeling decent if you're a Breach fan going into map 2.
Oh, yeah, without question, man. We had the opportunity to cast them in their series versus Minnesota, where they just found so much success early on with their first bloods. I also love the way that they set up their defenses because, like, everything is covered. Cammy's always playing over towards the 18-wheeler, just going back and forth, helping through the mid-courtyard. But the SMGs are truly setting the tone on, like, how they're going to dictate their aggression through the middle side of DVDs with their ARs just being so consistent, holding down their lane. You see it. Cammy 1.12, Awakening 1.09. The opening dual win percentages for Awakening, though, is massive because if that guy can give you an opening kill, your SMGs can get active, and you know Cammy is definitely going to be watching that pitch. So it allows your team to be fully set up every play when he finds success like that.
Yeah, Boston Search and Destroy has come a long way in this stage in particular. A lot of it happening because of the introduction of Dealership and the reintroduction of Rewind. But their Hacienda, which has been kind of a staple for them so far in the year, continues to look pretty polished as well. I will say, I think this is kind of the one note about this Boston team, and I don't want to rain on any parades here early, because I guess there is a level of April showers bring May flowers. But Boston's had one of the easiest qualifying schedules this year. They have really not played anybody except for Toronto. And to be fair, they blew Toronto out of the water. So there's some significance there, but it's one of those situations that you would hope that things like their Search and Destroy and their Control would get better playing such a soft schedule. And so far they've been able to provide that. So it is a level of, you know, getting the stage set up on a silver platter and capitalizing on it. But for the other side, for Vegas, fighting for an opportunity to possibly see a winner's bracket, this is the one mode that's really caused them a lot of trouble recently, and it's just every mode had prior to this roster change. But since this roster change, this has also been their most problematic mode.
Yeah, S&D 0-5 in the stage, basically dead last in every category, last in first bloods, last in conversion rates, even when they find the first blood, last in pole plants, and 10th in retakes. Those are all the major categories you need to have some success in Search and Destroy. So you're going to try to play Rewind for the first time as a squad, and initially you already have a great play. Aggressive through the side gens, Pred opened up with a double.
Yeah, I love that. Just again, knowing how Boston like to play, like you mentioned, the AR's kind of splitting the extremities of the map, and then the SMG's running in the middle. Why not just take that away?
What the hell?
1v4, he gets a couple just right in front of him for free, finds the third before even being shot back against, and things get really dicey, but does not tally the fourth, and Vegas will survive the round.
Oh my God, I almost threw up because he found those three kills instantly. And that would have been the standout statistic. If you get the first blood, you still lose the round, even in the 1v4. But thankfully, Vegas set the tone early on with the aggression, take gens away. Pred and Extend working as that dynamic duo the same way they did on that opening Skyline. And they found success in round one.
That would have been just like, selfishly speaking, if he pulls that off, that would have been one of the most embarrassing 1v4 calls in the history of Call of Duty League. I'm sitting here thinking the round's over, and here's Scammy finding three. Exnit try to get some force over towards the front side. He gets a really solid read in the play over towards Courtyard, which Pred follows. Oh, what a read. Yeah, you can see him barking in the player cam. Another opening double comes through, and it's just down to what Purge can find for a 1v3 opportunity.
Yeah, shout out Pred, man. Turning and burning onto Snoopy. Now the technical 1v3, 1v2 now for Purge. 40 seconds to work with. Bomb gets down at A. And both SMGs just playing tight, corner to corner. I got your back, you got mine. I'm going to also get bomb checks. He's got a lot of time to waste.
Yeah, and this is going to be so tough for him to break open with an AR. There's a shoulder. There's the jump peek, and then the follow-up. Yeah, absolutely perfectly done for Vegas, who now through 2 rounds, doesn't matter if they're on the defensive or offensive side, finding so much success playing in that tight corridor, backside Jennies, getting the reads, manipulating what exactly Boston are trying to do, which again is largely play off of this area of the map. So really good advantage right now for the Falcons.
Yeah, let's look at this again. 54 HP, down to 28, knife out, back shot, jump shot. Snoopy gets caught slipping. Pred has had 2 massive rounds back-to-back to start this game off. He's been an outstanding player ever since he started wearing this version of green. Up 2-0 for Vegas.
Gosh, this whole year may be categorized by how the year started versus where all of that Optic team had gone to. Some with success, others still trying to find it, including the 2 that remain on the green wall. As we get some patience here in Boston. This is, I won't say this is atypical for them, but it is different. You know, they get pushed back in their first offensive round. They need to change things up, and this time, yep, it's number 5 and number 6, Purge and Cammy working together, getting the team shots to RCD for first blood.
They find the first kill, and they use their tax to at least back down the SMGs from their aggressive positions. And this is sort of like a strategy that the old Vegas Falcon squad used to use. Now everyone backs up. You're able to fight this gunfight head on, head strong, but now it's a 1v1.
Priesthood trying to move quickly. Has both weapons in pocket. Finds the 1v1 and just able to center onto Cammy. And Exnid's giving him some passion. This might be one of the fieriest teams based on personality right now in the league, because guaranteed 3 of the 4 are going to give you some energy every single time. The only one that you might be looking at is like, we'll see if Priesthood can match the energy on the cams.
All right, well, at least Priesta wins the one-on-one there, but as soon as that turns into a 3v4, all the Vegas say, screw trying to fight one-on-one Childs. Let's just push something out together. And thankfully, they push at the right time through B Street, win a majority of the trades, and then give Priesta the advantage there in the one-on-one to go up 3-0. Vegas Falcons win this S&D. The green wall is going to be shaking a little bit.
I'll say. Well, at the moment, again, it's Boston showing force through A. We see this all the time with Purge and Snoopy in particular. They back up over towards Courtyard. You can hear the glass breaking, and you can see Exnit's probably coming that his eyebrows just went into his forehead. And now a chance to possibly just re-execute here if you're Vegas with nade advantage.
You're just trying to stall out time. Gain some information while Pred is just jumping through Burger. He's able to spot Awakening. I don't know if Awakening actually sees him, but yeah, he definitely does. Once that door gets shot open, Priesta strikes for the first blood, and now Awakening, you just want to play your life because you're going to get isolated.
Yeah, Varsity's over the back. Keeps him tagged up, and Awakening will be isolated. Here comes the re-wrap though from Boston, exiting on the backside of A to re-pinch this. Really well developed here in terms of how do you want to manipulate, at least in the A site for a 2v2. Shots go towards the bomb carrier of Exnit, and he's actually looking to back up to see if they can continue to find isolations, which they do. And now it's on to Cammy for the 1v3.
The Cam man has had a lot of moments so far in Search and Destroy. Can he get an angle to spot the bomb planner? He does not. So bomb goes down. Exnit should fall or not, and Cammy is going to get swarmed. Falcons 4-0 in the S&D. I'm just loving the way that they are playing this. Just like they're realizing, okay, it's like, it's not an individual show. Even in that round when they isolate over towards the left side on the away game, making a 4v2, someone instantly dies on a pinch. Exton is not committing on those one-on-one gunfights. He's waiting for his teammates to get back into the play so they can play their numbers advantage. Finally, Vegas shows some teamwork and Search and Destroy, and it's looking good.
And the thing about it, and I don't mean to like beat a dead horse here, but you know, Boston are, I won't like, they've been good on the map, but I will say, like, watching them play it, I feel like it's really easy to tell what they want to do. Maybe you don't know exactly what the play is going to be, but you know they want to get their SMGs into the mix at A early, which is exactly what we're seeing here. Exit beats the timing again. Damage to everybody. Purge just trying to get away. Nowhere to go though, and Vegas continue to beat down Boston right on the interior of DVD.
And now Cammy in a 1v2, information already gained, and Exnit aggressive as hell on the pinch. Breach is destroying him. He's just trying to be a distraction, set up Exnit to close out the round. Vegas Falcons looking like they're gonna potentially secure their first S&D of the stage. And for your first time player rewind, let's get this in every single series.
Wow. I mean, you say that, but like, this was a very different affair yesterday. And the fact of the matter is, it just feels like Vegas are getting all the right reads. They're putting together the exact right game plan they need to. And Boston have not been able to even come close to putting together any sort of an adjustment that would force Vegas to have to change up what they're doing. And here we go again. Similar setup, but this time Purge gonna get aggressive over towards Burger, but it's popped out immediately by Priesta. And that will be likely enough for this numbers to just get together, and I would imagine try to continue to just seek out info. Yeah, over towards this Burger Street.
That's exactly what it is. Just seek out info. Someone tries to overextend. Let's make them pay for it, and RC is able to catch Cammy. So now in a 4v2, Snoopy potentially is going to make a big time play here. But while he's flanking, you're going to be flanked by the rest of Falcons. 1v4 for Awakening. Falcons looking for a clean 6-0.
Awakening is behind the play, so maybe a chance to isolate a 1v1 or 2. But time is going to be an issue. And well, I was going to say maybe he doesn't even get through the first one. 5 HP, he stays alive. Next, they're looking for the plant. A little bit late. Joe get an angle at this. Sees Arcides. A couple of tags are in, but the bomb goes down, and that makes things much more comfortable here for Vegas' post plant.
Oh yeah, we're already going map 2. Like, Awakening, you got to do something crazy here if you want to try to take this round away, or at least still try to contest in this map. 30 seconds, someone breaks a glass, you're forced to react to it. Then the Chow comes in, and Priesta's able to gun him down. Falcons, clean 6-0 on the Search and Destroy. They are beating the hell out of Boston right now, man. This is unbelievable.
Yep. Oh, I mean, beating the hell out of them in the Search and Destroy, to be sure. The bounce back and the little mini comeback in the hard point is just flat out. I think that's like a ceiling moment. You start to see what this team could do when their back's against the wall and see what kind of opportunities they were able to provide with this new roster. But here with this search and destroy, again, just the immediate bounce back after getting 6-0'd in their own right on this map versus Atlanta. To come out and essentially just beat Boston at their own game is next level. Cammy gets 8, but a lot of the kills he found were in rounds that the round was already over. Like the 1v4, for instance, and the 1v3. So, wow. Vegas 2-0 up just like that. Double vault to come. And I think that's the good news here for Boston. You've been flawless so far in control, and vault hardpoint continues to be one of your bread and butter. So maybe there's a chance here to possibly still see 5, but Vegas impressing. And I'm sure those Easter eggs that were hunted on the desk are maybe a bit more appreciated.
Let's go.
Let's go, Easter Bunny.
This bunny sucks, bro. 2-0. A little Easter blessing for both of you and the Vegas Falcons. Why is this so big for the Falcons? Well, if Atlanta wins and if Carolina wins, you're starting in your first winner's bracket of 2025 in the CDL
Still have to close out this series. Don't jinx it just yet, Chris, but it is looking very, very good for the Vegas Falcons. My God, you know, what's so interesting about this is Exit was on that original roster when they were winning search and destroys versus teams early on in the season.
Right.
And I feel like we kind of got to see a little bit of that during this map number 2. I mean,
look at this man.
A 6-0 is unbelievable.
So this play right here, I'm looking at it, and Chris, you said something back in the green room. You're like, man, Exit draws so much attention. And I'm looking at him like, absolutely, he's kind of like...
He gets so much info.
Exactly. When you're looking at like an aggressive SMG, and typically the ones that are good at search and destroy,
said, "Come here,
they
you're not
get
running
into
away
a
from
spot,
me."
they draw attention, and it makes it so much easier for the rest of your team. If they can base like their search strategy on that and his strengths, they will be a good search team, because that was the majority of the rounds that they won throughout this, and how they were finding a lot of those first bloods was a lot off of the space that Exnit takes. Yeah, I fear that they have found the formula in search and destroy. Placer and the boys putting in a ton of work in Vegas with a thunderous 6-0 against one of the best rewind search teams in the game.
Yeah.
Gigawake may have stared into that sun too long this morning.
A little too long.
I think so.
Get too close, you're gonna get them eyeballs fried. Let's take a look though at map 1, because Skyline came down to just a 9-point difference. Allie, if you were gonna give an MVP to the Falcons, who was it?
I'd have to give it to Pred and Exit. They really opened up the map here when it came to that last final hill, and also just some of the decision making that I know Ann's about to break down for us in those last couple of seconds.
Let's do it. What do you got, Ann?
Yeah, so let's jump into the clip. This is the end of the hard point, and just how fast Vegas make decisions is why they're good at Skyline.
Wait, they're making decisions quickly now?
Fast decisions. Something we used to hate about the last roster. They have figured it out, and Exit, so much growth as a player. But yeah, let's talk about it. So you see right here, 2:35 for Boston. There's 17 seconds left on this hill, right? So the mission for Vegas is we have to break in, but also secure that next rotation. So you see right here, wait, let me jump back out. It's Pred right here. He's going to kill number 8 on P1, and as soon as he gets that kill, he's going to wait for his team. They're going to group up here. They're going to split off, kill the player that's going to be trying to push through P3 and trap them. And then after they get that kill, they're only commit one guy through, and then the rest of the players are going hallway, and one's going to split over to here to kind of collapse onto the time, right? Because we have to touch, we have to break. We'll jump back into the mini map here in a moment, but look at how fast this is, right? So Pred finds that kill onto Awakening, and now it's like, all right, let's go over, kill number 6 that's down low. We get that kill. Now I'm going to push over with my team if I'm Exnit, and we just got the touch that we needed. And now look at the reaction, just how fast it is. You got a player that's going to push over to here. You got Priesta, he's going to be playing safe, just knowing that player's going to be coming through mid or main, right? So he has angles everywhere. He can see everything. And now they're going to react so fast, pick up bottom bedroom, and this is instantaneous, right? So when you're looking at good Skyline teams, the spawns are so close, you can get to the hill so fast, you have to react quickly, and Vegas pick up every single lane almost immediately, filling gaps. After Priesta dies, you see Pred picks up mid, looking for the piano pinch. They're aware of every potential spawn out. Priesta's ready for it as well. Like, this is a well-oiled machine that has clearly watched their VOD and know every single spawn. Skyline is their map.
And Pred and Exit just played around each other so well in this situation. Pred gets that first 3 to break that P2, and then it's Exnit that finds all the stragglers from the side of Boston Breach trying to get into that P3. Just great stuff out of the Vegas Falcons.
That was beautiful.
Outslayed for the W. Falcons playing together and playing for the dub on Skyline. Then they 6-0 you in search and destroy. Can they get their first 3-0 of the season?
They actually can. This is like the most ideal setup for them because they're getting Vault in that map number 3, and that is their best control map. And as well as having having the momentum on their side, there's some possibility. Something's cooking.
Yeah, I mean, Boston, where they've won 3 Hossies in a row, they're 3-8 on vault on the season. So if you're Vegas, you got to close them out right here.
You got to do it.
All right. I don't know if my earpiece died or what.
And the last time they played, vault, it was round 5. Vegas Falcons won. They didn't win the series, but they beat them in the control.
But they won.
They won.
But they won.
But they won.
Are they going to win?
They might. I think so. That's
will
what the Easter
they?
Bunny said.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Easter Bunny, yes?
Going to. Yes. Easter Bunny, yes.
Easter Bunny, yes. Study.
All right. Shout out to the Easter Bunny. That guy's making bold predictions, and so far it is working out. A 9-point hard point, a 6-0 in Search and Destroy. A team who walked into the building today without a single W and basically dead last in every category in Search and Destroy. They have figured it out, but now you're still not done with the series. Control so far for this stage on the opposite side for Boston has been unbelievable. Sitting at 4-0 on the stage, ranked first compared to 11th, and last stage defense is a 100% win rate, and they're only giving up basically 1.5 ticks per round. They have been able to figure it out, but the only thing is a majority of that is on Hossie. You're playing vault, where the 1 vault that you got on this stage has an asterisk next to it. So you're looking to figure it out if you're Boston to add something else to the map pool when you talk about control. And realistically, as long as you bring it Slane, you're going to have a really good chance, because Vegas on the other side, they got the 2 worst ARs in the KD category in this mode. So just shut them down. You stand a pretty good chance at forcing map forward.
I can't lie, Jay. I'm still hung up on you catching that throw right there from Puckett. All right, period. If you say so, Chris. All right, let's get into this. Vault control, like you mentioned. It is one of those circumstances that, yeah, the Boston win, if you want to call it that, it really wasn't, right? So, you know, trying to actually get a feel for what they bring to the table, whereas Vegas, they have utilized this map more often than any other. 4-8 overall on it, and it was one of the vehicles for some of their early quote-unquote map win success when they were playing with the all-Saudi-based roster. So what can they add to the mix here after most recently having played Optic and bested them on the vault control? It will be opening offense for Boston, and after kind of a delayed approach looking for kills, Boston will clear the floor and get some progress done today.
Yeah, I feel like this is the perfect control map for Vegas with the pace that they play. Not only in the respawns, but even in Search and Destroy. Like, they just love to have gunfights. So when you can have all those battles where it's just makes you through the middle of the map, we walk out on top. We're going to stand a pretty good chance at dominating the map control as they find 3 in the feed. Only 1 segment is completed. Arseny's trying to take some space, get some assistance there for the trade. But 50 seconds to go, and Boston got to work out of their spawn.
Yeah, and X did. Whoa, just kind of finds himself right between 2 different Boston members. Snoopy was the one that kind of ran through the door with him, but Preds found him, deals with him. And Vegas are looking mighty fine right now. First tick done at A. Second being worked on as Cammy jumps over from the high ground right on into the point, but Priesta deals with both. And now it just leaves a couple of the members of Boston lingering around the A point trying to fight for their lives.
Yeah, and they continuously have the numbers if you are Vegas. You got players popping doubles. Now it's Preds' turn. They're going a little bit of a streak on 5 in a row. 25 seconds to go. Boston need to work out of their spawn. Purge finds an opening double. You got one player trying to edge out over towards B, but they're just trying to work their way back through mid, and Exit is not giving it to him.
Well, Cammy's double almost gets in more. Priesta just fighting, trying to stay alive. Great finesse. Gonna get the regen off completely nearly and finds himself a kill. Nice individual moment for P-Dog. Pred following up a little bit extra afterwards. You think the Falcons are feeling feisty? Okay, how about that for a little blank spot on the defense?
Dude, they're frying. Like, I'm telling you, the SMGs are doing whatever the hell they want. Priest is whipping out a third one to match the pressure through the middle of the map. He's popping doubles. Every single team fight, you're the last one standing. And now Boston, a team who has struggled on vault when you talk about their offenses, only get 1 segment there. So now you potentially need a shutout here. The break off is going to be massive. You saw it right there, at least in round 1. Both teams took their time on it because they know how important that first play is.
Wow. I'm trying to, like, get my bearings straight here, Jay, because, you know, watching the Vegas Falcons first series win, you know, it's one of those I think everyone's rooting for it in certain regards, right? 100%. It's just like, you gotta want to see it, even if it's against Optic. You just want to see it. But this would be different. This is one of those series you look at and say, hold on a second, okay? It's not just that they find their first win. Now you start to look at the roster construction, off roster mania, and say, wait a second, these guys could actually deal some major damage. And the opening breakoff attempt towards B started to gain some success, but now has been pushed back. It leaves Exnit by himself, and nice moment from him to catch 2 and hold on to the front door while Vegas try to get out of spawn.
Yeah, they can't get out of spawn because Cammy's just gunning him down on the cross. Sitting at front ammo, but on the opposite side, Pred has already worked his way on out. He also whips out an extra AR, knowing that he's going to be put on these situations. And now he's just stalling the play. Like, come look for me. I'm going to open up a lane for my teammates to start capping segment today.
Yeah. Well, you've got Purge trying to battle a 1v1 with Exit off camera while Pred continues to try to lock down space for the rest of the Falcons to jump comfortably onto B. Trophy system there also to reinforce this setup.
I don't like this.
But as Arcides drops, so does Priesta. Exnit back in the mix over towards A. Getting a little cute here, Jay. We need to take some progress.
Yeah, that's way too cute. Like, if you're Vegas, you already had Pred drawing the attention. 2 players committed on him, so you're going to have the numbers every single time you're fighting through that mid-map. But at least you only get 1 segment at A. I think they just want to get B out of the way first. You're going to turn this sort of into TDM, but there's 35 seconds left to go. We need segments.
Yep. We need something. We need some life here. We need to try to stop this clock, get some progress done. Exit shut down over at Art, and still. Boys,
oh
we need to get on a point here. We need to get on a point, and I get it. We're finding kills. You're feeling saucy, but we need to get the extra 60, otherwise it's all for naught.
At least you're slaying right now. You're up by 2 lives. You're still giving yourself a lot of opportunities. Now with the stack going in at this 8 point, second segment gets locked. Boston are looking like they're going to be forced to give this one up. Everyone's in a position to play an exit kill, and at least Vegas are able to extend the time.
Yeah, that's a weird moment for Boston actually on the flip, because Purge is sitting there at the hole and saying, are we going, guys? I'm looking right at everything. And no one even makes an attempt to try to capitalize on pinching the point or anything. So now you got focus back over to B. Exit making sure the spawn stays safe. Turned around and nearly wins the gunfight versus Awakening. But in all of that, it is a first tick at B that does get locked in.
Vegas now only up by 1 life. Make it none. All tied up in that column. But your first wave has to be taken care of Awakening. He's the one influencing your spawns. It's on Exton to catch the time, and he's able to win the 1-on-1. Now 50 seconds to go. All tied up at lives. You got players taking a lot of space, even on the pinches. You just got to push to the front. Let's get on a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Purge caught trying to deal with the reinforcements through mid. Teammates coming off spawn will get angles over the top of the B site, and they clear it just before the second tick of progress is fully confirmed. So now it's just down to what Pred can try to create. 6v5. Every kill a big kill from here on out. Pred recognizing the threat from Purge, backs him down, and now all of a sudden Purge is a bit stuck. Has to try to fight for his life. Not going to be able to. Good isolation. 6v4. Vegas with the numbers.
Now, how do they decide to play this? Just a player in towards Vault. Gonna put the game clock out of pause. Everyone else trying to clutch up on their 1-on-1s, but the pinch from Cammy might break them.
You need to find success here, though. That's the thing, and it's not coming through quickly enough. Third tick of progress is being worked on. Purge and Cammy are the last 2 remaining, but Purge able to clear off the zone. Arcides seen outside. Palm, he gets dealt with, and now it's just to a 1v2. Pred by himself. Has a chance at this, to be sure, but just an SMG, and both defenders for Boston are playing way off the zone.
Yeah, they're not going to move until he touches the point. Once he does that, both players are now going to swarm. You're going to take your time if you're out of bombs. Purge is going to challenge from line, and he's simply going to get isolated. But if you're Vegas, like, what the hell are we doing? Like, we had so many opportunities. Like, our SMGs or anyone that's getting through to Art is drawing the attention. If we just give ourselves more time to have these pushes over towards B, we can execute a proper play, but it's like everyone's doing their own thing. And if you're going to do that, then you're not going to stand a chance in control, because it's all a team effort.
Well, I mean, hey, still 5 ticks of progress, right? It just feels like, again, the window was open on potentially going up 2-0 in this control. If not, it was not just open, it was welcoming, knocking on the door for it. But still, major advantage in the tick progression for the Vegas Falcons. Lots of Boston breach focus needs to come back in here to try to get this thing closer to level. And I think a lot of it is you're looking at the SMGs really struggling here for Boston, which has not been the case when they played on Hacienda.
Yeah, that's been all season for them. On their offensive side, they just can't get anything going in this lane. Consistently getting outslayed by more than 4 to 5 kills, and if that's going to continue to be the case, then you're going to stand no chance. But Giga Wake was looking at the sun today, and he's able to pop a 4-piece, stack the point, and now it should literally be done.
Yeah, should be. And the stack is in, so not getting too cute here is Boston. Just getting the extra 60 seconds, and now it's 12 minutes, or 12 minutes, 2 minutes and 12 seconds on the clock. 12 minutes would be egregious. But the shutdown on the return looks decent for Vegas. An opportunity for Cammy to try to get some work done on the B point, but he's by himself. And he's taken off the zone. It will be Vegas reestablishing defensive control.
And now you're down by 1 segment with 2 minutes to work with if you are Boston. Just got to take our time working out of our spawn. Purge potentially slips by, finds an opening kill over towards Cat, and then jumps out over towards Pool and instantly is traded by Exnid. 3 for 1. You just continue to hold if you're Vegas.
Yeah, Snoopy. Oh, got caught up on the tax spin right there. Priesta now on 3 in a row. And Vegas getting right back into that same defensive pressure setup that they had from round 1. No one's getting through. No one's getting by. Awakening able to keep his life to alleviate some of the pressure, but it's a 5-life advantage, and already 60 seconds have been taken off the clock.
Yeah, Snoopy tries to work his way on through. Instantly going to be traded. You go 2 for 2 in the battle, and now you just want to play your life if you're Vegas, but Red is going to give up his life for free. Exton on a pinch isn't going to get the timing to go his way, so Boston have an opportunity. 3 dead.
2 on the point. First tick quickly done. Second being earned very quickly. Now the third one's on. Trophy system comes in late too. So if you're Boston, you're looking mighty fine for this. You got to find a way to challenge if you're Vegas. Here comes the slide out from Priesta. That's dealt with. Nice snap from Cammy on 5. Almost good for 6, but the capture comes in before he can create the streak. And Boston will be happy to very rapidly take a follow-up offense.
Yeah, right now Vegas is just playing one-on-one. Like, that's all it is. It's not a team game right now. Timing's not going your way when you're trying to take some space, and when you're giving up your life in those situations at the same time where your teammates also doing the same thing. And 3 dead, everyone coming off the respawn. You don't have a chance to reinforce, but the break off was perfect. Shout out to Giga, as he just flies on in, finds 3 with the pistol, and is able to instantly capture that 8 point there for his team. Boston's showing a little life. Definitely there on their offense. They're up by 2 segments. And now if you're Vegas, we need teamwork here to try to force round 5.
Yeah. Well, after a lot of success that gets marginalized in the last moments for Vegas, you got to be feeling decent about your opportunity to respond here, but pressure is on, like you mentioned. That's 4 dead.
Stack.
Exted from this position over towards Catwalk is going to take away space and watch the cross. He's been seen, but RCD's little kind of a peek push out through mid. Followed up by Xnid, but not going to happen. The stack is here. Second tick of progress should be good.
Yeah, I can understand if you're making that play to just draw attention, stay alive in your position, but then to jump out the back door, get from a free first kill, it still gives Boston an opportunity and the numbers to work their way through the middle of the map. But Pred and RCD already combined for 2. A should be done and dusted, and time is going to be extended.
Okay. And you've got, I'll say maybe RCD is trying to find some space to work with over towards B Street. Doesn't quite work out, and that's an opportunity for Boston to start making a play forward. You see that defense is secured, but that only comes if Vegas win the round, so that's the biggest focus point here for the Falcons. With minute 57 on the clock in, again, trying to create some space through Vault and to B. It's looking pretty decent, but Boston are just opting to take away space over towards the Vegas spawn.
Yeah, they have both sides. So AR's just post up, find a couple of freebies. I'll send him my SMG eventually to find an opening kill, but Brett is able to clear out his spawn from the opponent's spawn. So now his teammates off the respawn, able to push right up through the front side of the street, but Giga Wake again with the double shuts down the play.
Yeah, Priesta only gets 1 before being traded. Purge working on a route around the outside of P2. Seen, caught, dealt with. 2 down. ARs making their move up towards B Street. The SMGs for the Falcons trying to create routes. Snoopy keeping his head in the swivel. Not 100% sure where this hit's going to come from, but as they find Xnid, now Boston, again, can afford to just keep their eyes forward.
Every time they find that first kill, they know that they have the advantage. Now we just got to keep on trading, being the last team standing. Snoopy flies on in. Cammy, he gets one from all the way top art, but now he's going to fall.
Good nade.
Well, here come Vegas. They're already on it. First segment locked.
Yeah, and you've got Priesta following up. You've got 3 members here. There is no trophy system down to the moment, but Pred stayed alive, and throughout all of this, that is the most important part. You got to challenge this. Cammy's able to find 2, make it 3. Shutdown comes through. Arceus is already committed to the play, so he's going to see what else he can grab before possibly dropping. He's actually got some space and try to manipulate a little while longer, and actually his focus will be fully pulled towards Boston's spawn now as Priesta's moving around the long route as on the backside.
Yeah, Priesta just wants to be a nuisance. If he can stay alive, even better. He already draws the attention from Cammy, so their setup over at the street side is going to be a little bit weaker. But Priesta's just banking on his teammates to find some kills to work his way to him.
Moment of pause here. 5v10. Everything has to be very efficient if you're Vegas. And they're just not winning any individual gunfights. They're trying to open up space. They're trying to kind of get this Boston defense out of place and out of position. But all it takes is one good set of kills. Clock comes to a pause. Arcides finds the second, but now he's essentially by himself, trying to stay down. Exit, trying to cut off the pinch. Finds the first, forces Cammy forward. Cammy, good for the opener. Arcides still with the shutdown, the 1v1. This is for the round. Purge for the contest, and Purge saves things for the control, but Arcides, a near heroic moment. He gets 4 on the zone, last one standing. All you need is the last 1v1 for the win, and it just does not quite come through.
Yeah, shout out to Boston for playing that map somewhat correct, because Vegas, on the other hand, are just throwing so many opportunities away. Like, we're taking space individually when we're winning a majority of the gunfights. We're the last team standing, but then just going out there and giving up our life for free. I know technically it's their best control map, but that was an awful display of control there from the Falcons. You give Boston Breach life, they capitalize on it, they extend the series. We're going into another vault.
Wow. Fireworks, though. That was a great 4 rounds worth of control. And a lot of it coming out of... I mean, okay, great from entertainment value. Let's not get too overcritical, all right? Because you're right. There were a handful of mistakes. I think Vegas, first and foremost, were looking at their opening offense. It looked like it was kind of given to you, hands wide open. Boston follow up with the offensive win of their own. Obviously, the electricity in that round number 4. So high marks for entertainment quality. Yeah. And for Boston fans, obviously a chance to go into one of your strongest hard points, try to get this thing to a map 5.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Because now if you're Boston, you have some of your favorite maps to close out this series if you manage to force it to a map number 5. The red card hasn't treated them well, but we'll get there after we get through this vault. You saw on map number 1, early on, it was Vegas who started off winning basically every single rotation, flawless on their hold percentage. And when you talk about a map like Vault, it's always going to be about that conversation from the P3 to the P4. Whichever is the team to dominate that rotation, to set up properly and not allow any time to go the opposing way, you're going to be the team victorious at the end. But when you take a look at these highlights, yeah, it's a lot of gunfights going down. A whole lot of action, but just not much success. With all that action going down is unacceptable on the side of Vegas.
No, you're absolutely right. But still, again, it may be a little bit too late in the season, but it's inspiring to see how things are starting to develop for Vegas so quickly. Just comes down to, again, like they are against the clock right now with not a lot more matches to play. And that's, again, kind of arcs into the importance of not just this particular match to get 10 points, but more importantly, put yourself in a spot to get to the upper bracket. Give yourself a chance to maybe extend your run at Major 3, where they desperately will need points if they want to try to find any sort of opportunity for us to even talk about a playoff situation. Whereas, again, for Boston, the big story is that everything's right in front of you. You've done what you've needed to do with a very easy Major 3 qualifying schedule to this point. You've gotten yourself a handful of good points towards possible playoff building. You have an opportunity, and you've already locked, of course, for the upper bracket, but you can maybe do what you essentially had done in Dallas, get a couple extra points at the major, and really give yourself a cushion as you try to finish off the year before playoffs.
Oh, yeah, this 10 points is massive for the side of Boston, because right now you're sitting tied with Miami at 140. So if you can get 10 extra, you're going up by 10, going into the major. You know, both squads are going to start in winners bracket, so as long as we outperform Miami and everybody else behind us, we're going to stand a pretty good chance at staying in this contention for champs. But when you take a look at the map boom between these two slayers, Pred was the guy whipping out the SMG, starting off the game with an AR, going on multi-kill after multi-kill. He started to slow down in the middle of the half, but he was able to keep that thing going to close out that game. And then Cameron McGilligan, like, he's just been Mr. Consistent for Boston. Every time you're looking at a guy to always put up the stats, he's the guy, because he's been around Call of Duty for so damn long. He's seen every different situation. And when you need to see that guy value in his life and playing his life and holding out a power spot, yeah, Cammy's the guy to do it.
You kind of saw it there at a glimpse in terms of what we're talking about for the Major 3 qualifiers. Boston already locked, could be putting themselves in a position for a multi-team tiebreaker to figure out who gets the top seeds. Whereas for Vegas, this win would put a lot of pressure onto Atlanta and their following matchup to see who gets in to the top 8 spots for Boca Raton. Here we go, Vault Hardpoint coming into us. And again, the biggest thing about this is it kind of, as a story that you can pick your poison here. Either the first being Boston, they love this map, they've been really solid on this map, but for Vegas, the hardpoint success rate has been super high. It just has not come by ways of a lot of reps on Vault. This is the one time they played it versus Optic.
Yeah, the W versus Optic, we know how Optic like to play it. Don't really get any time off P3. Now you have to rotate towards P4, and then that led to Vegas just holding on some of these money hills basically perfect. But On a map like Vault, your SMGs need to be felt early on, but your ARs need to be the closers on the outskirts hard points. But into the action we go. Mix Fest in P1.
Opening first blood on the map, though, goes the way of Vegas. They have had some really solid break-off looks on just about every mode, honestly. Search and Destroy, Hardpoint, and the Control. That's going to be followed up here with another good break-off onto P1 at Vault. And it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Not a single kill for Boston at this point. You still got P2 to your back. Pred trying to create a layer. Does get shut down, and maybe an opportunity here for Boston to break in.
Yeah, Boston with Awakening finding a double. Now you have the numbers to work your way back to the middle of the map. But P-Dog, again, another massive play. Now the finesse good enough for Pred to get back into the situation. Off to a fantastic start is Priesta. And Falcons have yet to flip those spawns. And you can already see a couple players from Boston spawning on the backside because they're getting too aggressive over through Lion.
Something about when Priesta pulls out an SMG, it just hits a little different. Or that Vanguard gear. Priesta with the MP40 is a little different. Snoopy able to get into the hard point at P2, but desperately needs help. Awakening providing a little bit of damage over towards Exit. That's an easy follow-up for Snoopy, but now, yeah, he's just got to try to fight for his life, and the kills will not be there for Boston to hold. So just 7 seconds of initial time, and Vegas are right back in.
Yeah, now Boston has to break through the front. No one's dedicating himself on a long route, and Purge is able to find an opening, working his way up through palms. And I don't know if Priesta's controller died or something, but he didn't even react to that gunfight. Purge with the triple. Allows the break to come in clean there for Boston. They got Vegas trapped towards the back, but you can already see Pred thinking about that roto to new. He's hitting a route.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just Priesta. He bumped the door, and Purge just kind of got ricocheted backwards. But the follow-up, counter break, good for Vegas. Now working on the exit and rotation. They're going to have Boston spawning behind them at the old time at P2. It's just Awakening who's trying to put some sort of a force together on this long crossover towards what eventually will be this P4 side of the map. And he's done well to give himself a staging ground to work with. Teammate coming with him as P3 is open.
Yeah, P3 is open. Camry's already taking space at the other side of the street, and now you're trying to fight for your arc control, but Exodus the entire time has played it super patient, and I absolutely love this play, but don't let the timing come back to bite you. Thankfully, the reaction time is even better. He secures arc for his squad. Boston all the way across the map. Now you just don't want to let him soak up time here.
Yeah, well done. Damage from Exit, followed up by Pred, who can't quite find the third kill in a row, but just a bullet left. Has Priesta in position to find the trade. Arcides read to Awakening. Good battle between those two. Both damaged heavily. But Boston, with 18 seconds remaining on the third hill, now start to make their move across the map, and that win from Purge allows the floodgates to open up here for the breach.
Yeah, and every kill is so important right now on both ends. Thankfully, Priesta and Exton are able to stabilize, make it a 2v2. Now you can test in the player on the backside of the hard point, but Purge is just going to play his life. The new hill hasn't popped, but now that it does, Vegas are going to have the numbers. They're going to have the close spawns, and now if you're Purge, you got to play your life.
He's found a good route, gets out of top side of P4, gets around the back trying to block spawns, but doesn't get the read over to Ed Zexton, who has both weapons to work with. Pred trying to help out. Good position, but Snoopy just over the top. Whoa, big double from Snoopy. Late to the first gunfight, wins it, follows up for more as he's out on 3 in a row, and a chance for Boston to move the spawns, break the hard point, and they'll do both.
Oh, man, now Vegas is spawning all the way across the map. This 30 seconds is going to be locked up on the side of Boston, but they're getting aggressive on those kills, and now at least one player is going to spawn all the way across the map. You have the numbers, you got to fly.
Oh, nice my God. Snoopy! One shot away from putting another Reddit-worthy masterclass, but it's still followed up nonetheless, and Boston will have their first significant lead here in map number 4. 20 points, and a little bit larger than that as we head back to the middle of the map, where honestly Boston have kind of capitulated Vegas's ability to put together any sort of a zone or a setup around this hill.
Yeah, Vegas left themselves some P1s. They've been able to stabilize, not really lose track of the spawns or lose track of players. Whenever these gunfights start to go down around the middle of the map, but all the kills light up in favor of the breach. Now you start to get aggressive, potentially spawn them all the way across the map, or just set up, soak up time, and play for the next wave.
Now Vegas going to spawn all over the map right now. Matters made worse by Snoopy. Winning over to the right side of the map, setting themselves up for hopefully will be a P2 side if you're a Boston fan. Vegas fastidious about how they want to try to break their way back through. Do you play for spawns? Do you play for the hill? And it looks like they want to play for spawns. You got a long route from Arcitys, a hit here from Exit over the top of Catwalk, and that should start to move, if not influence these spawns slightly as we look over towards the P2 side of the map.
Yeah, but it's just keep on trading if you're Boston. You're going to allow your teams to spawn over towards Ammo. The only one farthest pushed up is going to be Arcitys, and now you overwhelm him. You win the rotation over towards New, and now you just got to iron up through the front door. Snoopy contested already from the front.
Snoopy, yeah, how good has he been in these 1v multiple moments? With the my God, on 4 in a row, and now off the regen, feeling pretty pugnacious about his way to try to deal with the rest of this Vegas hit from the front. 19 and 9, he has put together an absolutely astonishing map 4 display to this point, and honestly for Vegas, they really can't even get any development to hit from the front. Purge is cutting them down before they can even see the hill.
Yeah, this is so tough. You have not been able to get even close towards this hard point, but too aggressive on the side of Boston allows Exit to spawn right behind them, so he's potentially going to break them. He's able to find a double, and would look to be a flawless hold there from Boston is a mistake, and now Vegas get a little bit of time that they much needed.
Yeah, Purge shut down from hitting that pool side. Guns are up for Vegas. Towards the backside at P2, fighting for his life as Exnid, but he only finds a couple of seconds before Boston re-break and now can make their move across the map. And you can see what that's already done. With the hard point still active at P2, Vegas will spawn behind. Good moment here though from Priest as he finds another elimination, and actually Pred will spawn up just as the hard point opens on the left side of the map. And yeah, I'd say it's put a lot of pressure on Snoopy. He gets a decent read, but can't deal with it.
Yeah, that's going to catch Snoopy off guard. So Vegas have arc control, but you need to be able to suck up time here at P3. Extant on the pinch is able to line up a double, get him off the time for now, but everyone's got a flood. We have the numbers. We got to go.
This has been a really mixy map. I think a lot of it is because the SMGs are finding a lot of success, but it's not been clean. And a lot of that is because the main ARs for both teams have relatively struggled from start to finish. Arcity's just 6 and 16. Cammy's only 9 and 16. So again, you talked about it kind of setting up this map, Jay. You wanted to see the ARs controlling and dominating space. They have not been able to provide that, at least not as a collective force of 2, and that's led to a lot of just heroic SMG plays at this point.
Dude, are Vegas just like anti-time at P3? Like we're playing
Feels
so hard for
yeah.
arc control, and we're giving them a lot of time for Boston to just keep the lead that they are. And now before the new hill pops, there's already player contesting for the spawns. Purge is playing his life, has already gotten lost. His teammates taking space over towards B Street, and now Vegas have 2 players all the way across the map.
Yeah, they just have to try to read and respond to this hit as it comes over towards the backside of the map. X did stunned. Plays back, knows he needs to keep his life. Pred stepping up. Damage in. That's good to help out for team shots, and that's so well received. Great bunker moment from Vegas. Not having the setup that they want, they still find the kills, and now they've got 35 seconds trying to get this game tight.
Yeah, and that's a clean for Dead, but already the opening kill, the opening 2 kills goes in favor of Boston. We're peeking from the hard point, and now the last man here has to make something happen. Thankfully, X did find the kills at the right time for his teammates to still spawn in towards the bag. 20 seconds is good time, but Snoopy just simply puts down shots, and Pred has no more ammo.
Oh, man. I was about to say that was saving a scam moment for Vegas, but they still get pushed out of the next attempt for Boston. Awakening good damage, can't quite finish off the kills in front of him, leaving Snoopy by himself. He's got good predictions and a little bit of help on these crossing angles, plus the long-range shots on the Pred, and that leads from scrap to initial for Boston, back up to above 60 points.
Now, if you're Vegas, you need to get some pressure. You need to be able to outnumber these guys in the middle of the map, win your trades, and be the last team standing. Because the way that the SMGs are dictating the game, Snoopy was not performing in that map number 3, but he is double positive. He is just taking over right now for Breach.
Well, a little bit of impatience there by Cammy, gets punished. Awakening, just gonna try to hold his life over towards this connector push. Little double slide comes through, and how does Awakening get both of those? That just can't happen. Arcity's also drops from inside the hard point, and Boston will have a chance to move spawns on their way over to P2.
Only 1 player here to still contest them. Pred's only able to take down 1, instantly gonna fall, and out of close spawns are in for Boston to win the rotation over towards P2. Snoopy, that player's already weak. Let me get the freebie. Purge right through the middle of the map, setting up the crossfires, and everyone is dying off the rotation. So Boston gonna be uncontested to start this one off.
Interesting moment here, though. The split spawn from Cammy leads to Purge beam from behind. Vegas are threatening immediately, but the timing on the hit from Cammy works out to cut things down from the front. They know that a player had spawned up behind, as you were calling, Jay. And that leaves to just a mixy moment here for Vegas, having to fight in from the front. And to be fair, they've cleaned up things nicely. Now it's just down to, can you actually hold inside the hard point, because you need every single bit of these last 35 seconds.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to hurt them more is that the next hard point is going to be P3. So I think they've had a total of like 10 seconds combined and 2 HPs. So we're just going to have to figure out how to play the objective a little bit better if we want to climb back into this game. Still 20 seconds here at P2. You're trading effectively, but 3 go in favor of Boston. The break is in.
Yep. This 13 seconds you cannot afford to give away if you're Vegas. And that's well done. One more to grab its awakening. He gets overwhelmed. Nice moment there from Arcides. Again, he had a really slow start, 6 and 16 on 5 in a row, now up to 20 and 24, saving the game there in certain ways for Vegas, but still a long path in front of them. And as you already alluded towards, Jay, it all comes down to, can Vegas actually deal any damage to the scoreboard here on P3? Because so far, they've largely just been playing keep away as best they can.
Yeah, and there's only 50 seconds on the game clock. We might fall into white time here on a Bolt HP, because Vegas really don't understand how to get time off of this P3 hill. And if you're Boston, just keep on finessing through the street. You can win all the gunfights you want through the map. We're playing keep away.
Every second is a dangerous one that Boston find tally on. RC's super long route. We just don't have time to make this play.
Hell no.
We gotta get in. We need to get over and challenge the hard point. And Purge will find 2. Exted caught. And again, like, we're trying to manipulate for the P4 side of the map, but you give away another 15 seconds, this map's just over.
All right, finally the break's able to come on in. You've been trying to hold down our control the majority of this map. You're still down by 100. You only get about 5 seconds there at the P3. But now you're banking on the rotation over towards Art again, but this time you're fully set up.
Pending, of course, that they can get a read over towards poolside, because they're going to be a little bit late. It's just Exton who's throwing shoulders to watch it. Hits coming from 2 sides at once. Good opener from Arcides to shut down a play over towards Art. Exit also finds one in the backside of Dumpster. So the hit has to be moving right through front statue. And it's starting to make its play. Cammy for 2. Priest just has to predict the right doorway. One of his teammates does spawn up around him, but can they get a read on when the timing of this hit comes through? Arcides is outside the hard point. Pred's trying to fight from the backside of the stairs, but we got to get him off. We got to get him in. 244 to 156. The kills are there. It's just down to Vegas clean things up from the side door. Exit for 1. We have to challenge the hill, my guy.
Come on.
We need to, wow. I mean, state of the game awareness, not high for Vegas in those last couple of hills.
Dude, I don't know what the hell they're doing these last 2 maps, man. Like, this is not the same Vegas we saw in the opening HP. Skyline is a lot better because you're basically forced to be in the hard point every single time you're off the rotation or even in a gunfight. But it's just 2 sloppy maps from Vegas. Right there, you're banking too hard on arc control. You're not getting any time off P3. And then when you're fighting the gunfights initially for the P4, someone is either scamming, you're losing the first guy, you're allowing them to take space for you, and then they're finding breaks. That's just 2 sloppy respawns there from Vegas. And now we're all of a sudden in the game 5 when they were just 1 map away from potentially having a chance at winners bracket.
That was not the same type of objective focus from Vegas that we saw in the Skyline, whereas for Boston, again, domination from the SMG category. 41 and 24 for Snoopy, 32 and 28 from Purge. And again, after a really slow start from Cammy, he ends up getting into the picture there in that last set of hills. But look at the spread on this game flow gap.
Bro, look at that. They go from 44 points to 47 on the first P3. They go from 71 points to 72 on the second P3. They go from 129 to 132 on the third P3. That is less than 10 points. What are we doing if you're Vegas? We're never going to win a hard point if that's how we're going to play.
Well, and the thing is, it's not even just that, Jay, and I don't know if we have the ability to looking at that game flow one more time, but if you're not getting any time on P3, you better be getting time on P4.
Yeah!
Look at it. They barely do. 30 seconds on that second set, but from P4 to P1, you really don't get anything for Vegas on the 4th hill. So, again, it's just not putting together the hard points the way you need to. Thank you, Correction, for pulling that up kind of off the cuff. So it's just, again, telling the story right there, like you mentioned, being allergic to P3 and then not being able to follow it up with convincing holds on the 4th is just inexcusable at this level. So now we've got a 2-2 map count as we head to break and set up a map 5, potential reverse state for Boston, potential second series win for Vegas, and maybe a last-ditch hope for a potential upper bracket position for Major 3. Don't go far. It's going to be fun. We've got a full Sunday ahead of us. We'll be right back. The
Esports World Cup is an official partner of the Call of Duty League.
Upgrade your game with the SCUF, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
The Arcade Wiz Tracer Pack is available now. Hit the map in retro glory with the Star Player Operator, pixel-inspired emblems, and more.
Where's this?
I'm on top. He's got to be backside.
Dead.
Maybe backside side. Try side.
Nice.
Come on. Hey, we got that. What are we challenging, bro? Go. Let's go. Holy shit.
Boys, go clutch up there.
Boys.
My fault.
Still backside. One. I'm not seeing. Let's go. Stuck. Hey. In the corner. Absolutely. Coming. Hey. Holy shit. Let's go, boys. Come the fuck on. I'll take that. Defuse.
Weak.
One shot low.
Rug was weak. He was weak. I'm just holding the iron. I couldn't get him. He's one off a streak, Teach. He's working bomb quick. He's playing confident.
You saw him. You can't get on till 8.
Oh, frag. Wait, what?
Alright, we gotta regain. He's one off a streak. Come on, Teach. Let's go.
All good.
He's one off a streak.
Ain't no other frag on, bro.
All good.
3. Wait, he's top 3. Who are you looking for? Oh my god. It's one. It's good. No, you're good. It's like, just run him on the way out. Bro, I'm like, yo, he's going front edge. He has to. No, he's going top 3. This is the funniest.
Hey, we won. That's all that matters.
Yeah, we won. Good. But like, really, somebody.
The 2025 Boston Breach Team Pack is available right now. Each pack includes home and away operators, as well as this spray to help you blend the competition. Next time you boot up, suit up at the in-game shop.
My microphone's muted. It was black. That's what happens. Welcome. How you doing, buddy? Welcome back. Easter Sunday here, and we've got a map 5 affair. Didn't have to go hunting for that one too much, as Boston looks solid. The map 3, map number 4. But here's a look at what's at stake, and this is just for this immediate major. Again, Boston's looking to put themselves in the mix of what will be a multi-team tiebreaker situation for who gets the top seed in between at least 4 teams, maybe even 5. Whereas for Vegas, you get yourself to a 2 and 3 position. You have an opportunity to sneak your way into the upper bracket, kind of based on what happens with the Atlanta series and of course what happens with the Carolina series afterwards. So a lot on the line in terms of Vegas being able to show an immediate boost into what they can bring to the table for the rest of the calendar CDL year, whereas for Boston, try to set themselves up for another hopefully great opening day when it comes to what they can do at the major. So here we go. Red card search and destroy. Jay, give me your thoughts.
This is the most important series right now for Vegas, because for every other team that's playing after this, Vegas lose, everybody else that's playing is already in the winner's bracket. You need these guys to pull a W for us to have a more exciting day of Call of Duty ahead of us. But going into a red card, Vegas have 1 rep. They only been to one game 5 and they lost it in the 6-5 versus Miami. But the 1 rep that they have on this with this squad, they lost 6-5 to Optic with finding so much success in the first bloods, which makes no sense. Like, if you're gonna get first blood, we have the man advantage. Let's close out these rounds.
Yeah, there's definitely been a level of like just running around the map a little bit freely has allowed 3v4 situations to be capitalized on a little bit too much for some of these squads. Oh, it's a good read. Vegas going to take a little bit of a cautious opening here. Just throwing a couple of kind of more orthodoxical nades just over the middle to see if they can catch any information. None there. Boston holding back for the time being as Cammy's playing top third, awakening underneath. And Purge and Snoopy working together over towards the B side of the map.
Yeah, no one wants to get caught slipping on round one. You're just playing for some information. RCD's able to at least spot 2 guys. And no one even close towards that A bomb, but on the pinch, Snoopy's gonna get active. He puts down shots, not able to get the kill, and now Vegas are focusing him.
Yeah, Isolation's looking pretty decent. Snoopy stays alive, but Awakening will drop over towards the play at A. Wow, Snoopy puts himself in a perfect spot, though, to still deal with Xnid. And now there may be a battle on rotation here. Look at this deep scale play. Vegas trying to get through the A site. Have a couple of the Boston members in the way. And how about that from Pred? The perfect little dead slide allows him 2 free angles. And now Snoopy would have to capitalize on 1v3 ace.
Yeah, Snoopy 1v3. Bomb's going to get planted at A. Thankfully, he has both weapons for the occasion. But you got to try to isolate on one of these gunfights. And you also have a stun to work with. Spotted him.
Surely sees one in the corner, but hunting for more. Decent look over towards goal, but shots don't land. And it'll only be Snoopy who finds a single kill. And I love that play from Vegas. You know your flank is open. Why not just play and scale through? Force Boston have to sit and respond to it. It works out beautifully.
Yeah, it works because RCD is able to take down that first blood onto Awakening. I thought once Xnid gave him that isolation one-on-one, Boston were going to stand a better chance of just holding strong on their defense, but Pred able to catch the timing. He knows that Cammy is close by, and Purge is just trying to keep his teammate alive. But Pred with the AR, he's actually really good with that weapon in hand. I love to see when he makes that adjustment to his gameplay, and he's the deciding factor to round one there.
That's another moment where, like, if he slides even a little bit longer, Boston have the perfect little crossfire setup, but he just kind of hits the dirt. Gets 2 great angles out of with the Amos. So now you're going to get Boston on the offense. Pred gets a little bit caught. I think he may have been hit by a nade and just caught a no man's land. So he tries to push forward to beat the timing. Doesn't work. And as RCD's drops, it's going to be a 4v2 for Boston, trying to just finish this round as cleanly as possible.
Okay, I already have information on to Priesta. Now we just have to locate where Exit is. If he can time this peak on the backside of Soccer perfectly when the bomb carrier eventually gets into the play, you're going to stand a chance here, but he throws a shoulder. Purge never gave up the pre-aim. 1v4 now for Priesta.
Yeah, and he's just kind of stuck here at middle. Not much you can do, you would think, but maybe he gets the long-range angle onto 1. That sure happens. Bomb's being planted, so Priesta will have to face the clock now. Tries to bait the sound cue of the glass, but no one was nearby to hear it, so Boston should still feel pretty confident in this post-plant setup.
Oh yeah, they have everything. They have the crosses being watched, but Priesta at least guns down Snoopy for now. So 1v2, Awakening's trying to locate him. He has no idea where he is, and Priesta's got 25 seconds to still make something happen.
This is the difficult part, though. Getting down the stairs and on top of the bomb site. This is where those angles that the breach members are holding should come through, and they will. Awakening quick to follow up and shut that down, and Purge looks over the top of his monitor to say, ooh, what just happened there? But everyone's good.
Yeah. Yeah, Awakening, he literally DM'd Wheeler this morning saying, I stared into the sun. So probably was a little bit blind in that scenario. Couldn't really spot him on the first glimpse, and thankfully the repositioning and going unaccounted for allows him to secure that round there for his team. But you strike for the first blood, you instantly find the second, you put yourself in a 4v2, and then instantly work that objective once you also locate Xnid. Just a clean round right there from Boston on the approach towards A.
Offense for offense, back over to Vegas, who came out kind of respecting the opening setups. Xnid moving a little bit quicker here through mid. Trophy system down for Awakening to keep him safe at the backside of Sidewalk, but this is a lot of space for Xnid to take away. And yeah, he's going to get a pretty solid adjustment and read of where Awakening is positioned. The question's going to be here with that intel, are Vegas going to commit to trying to deal with that and just play into the information that they have? Or do you say, if they're playing goal, maybe we rewrap this back to B and force the defense a tough rotation?
Yeah, that's what Priest is trying to do now. At least take some space over towards that B site. Trying to make an island play, slowly edging his way on up, but Snoopy in a perfect angle once he crosses that corner.
This is so tough for Vegas to make a decision right now. You can kind of see Boston are electing to play more of a read and react type situation behind the site.
He's going unaccounted for, Alan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Snoopy, the thing is, Boston should know this. Like, the longer this round takes, the more you're gonna be feeling confident that the play's towards B, but Snoopy tries to play off the trigger discipline, gets caught by the second offensive attacker, and now it's just down to Awakening and Purge for a 2v4 retake.
Yeah, and they're both trying to work through ticket. RCDs doesn't give him an angle on the bomb plant, so now you have to try to locate every single player. You already give up information with Purge accidentally shooting his teammates, so just got to trade if you are Vegas.
Yeah, there's just no way you could get into this setup. That's so tough because, again, I think the read there for Boston is kind of this bunker back, stay safe. Snoopy would be the guy that pivots and plays off of either a timing play in towards that mid connector, or more specifically, is that an opportunity to stop a post plan from exiting the site? Because you know, the longer you don't hear anything at A, the more likely there's a play towards B. You see the defense starting to rotate in this moment, and Snoopy's thinking, I've got timing, I've got an opportunity, but just never looks right. And RCD's finds a freebie that essentially puts this round out of question.
Yeah, Cammy's also thinking, I should be able to rotate in towards this B side for free, because Snoopy's at least in a position to watch both crosses, but doesn't watch the outskirts, and Priest is able to catch him off guard, and that's what forces Snoopy to try to react to get that trade, and then get shot in the back. So Vegas able to capitalize on a misplay there from Boston. Take the advantage up by 1. This time, don't send all the aggression over towards Hedges. We're working the pinch insta.
Yeah, Pred and X did.
Spotted him
on this together. They do see Cammy. You take your time here. Meanwhile, the attack over towards A is on the site. Bomb not there yet. Pred should find a free first blood if they can find where Cammy's gone off to. He does find the kill, but it's not before Purge can find an opening over to A. And honestly, for Pred, he's a little bit stuck, has to rewrap the long way.
Yeah, but if you're Pred, just you being in that position is not going to allow them to have this bomb plan. So you got to play for the push through. Thankfully, Exton with the nade is able to catch one, and Arshidy's holding his spawn, catches the other. 1v2 for Awakening. Eventually, Pred is going to strike on the pinch. And Falcons, 2 rounds up now. Just set the tone that time with their aggression on the angle.
And I love the decision and the timing of Pred and Exton working together, and they both push through that position at the main concourse. But then the decision for Exton to retract back over towards the site. It's happening in this moment right here, where he gets back over through mid-map, able to assist to get the read that, yep, this pinch play that we've got going on is forcing Boston to try to play through. Again, like you talk about what this Vegas team was at the beginning of the year. I know that there was a lot of criticism in the first stage that Exton wasn't going to be able to hang, but he's come a long way about how he plays around his teammates.
Yeah, and that was all about trust in Pred. Like, Pred is probably giving him the calm, I got this kill, go back and help our teammates. Thankfully, that call works out to perfection because he secures the one-on-one. Just single-handedly stops that bomb plan from getting down at that A site, but now back on the offense for Falcons. Gonna invest a lot of attacks over the top side of A. Boston have 3 players on this side of the map as well. But do Vegas go back to that slow rotation with Prisa eventually edging his way out towards B?
The question will be, do they get the read on who's here at the A site? Because you don't have that sidewalk control this time like you did last time. Purge still responsible for this for Boston. And you may have called this pretty darn correctly here, Jay, because Prisa is watching for that long pinch on the rotation, but mostly Vegas just commit on, say, we've got a free plant, let's take what we get.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. They already worked their way up through stage. No one contests them, so let's just get the bomb down, and then they strike for the first blood as well. 30 seconds to go. You're going to have Priest in a position being your safety net. Now he's going to work the repinch.
Yeah, then getting 1 is fine. Getting 2 wins the round. Got it. There's just no way Snoopy's got the time to come back to this. Has to try to make a move. 1v2. No, not going to happen. Really smart play from Exit off the post plant, just holding his ground, knowing that we haven't seen anybody. So I don't know if it's going to be an SMG hit close by or what, but let's just kill the time, kill the noise, let Priest hit the flank, and him finding the first plus a follow-up was more than enough, let alone the fact that he gets 3 total in the round.
Yeah, that's unacceptable, though, from Boston, because you have 3 players on that side of the map. Like, how does it go under your nose that they've already worked this objective? And then by the time you're trying to take some more positionings away, you get picked off for the first blood. That could not be that easy. If you are Vegas, just edge your way on up through stage, uncontested, get the bomb down, and then also find that first kill. 3 rounds in a row now for Falcons. Boston have not been looking good in Search and Destroy today.
No. And I will say, just to kind of follow up to your point, Jay, it's also like the unexcusable thing for Boston may even develop before your point, where it's just like, if we're going to elect to play behind the site, we better have a better retake in mind than that.
Yeah.
So, first blood here, though. Boston's going to use it as a chance to get the bomb down quickly. Needs the support to make sure Snoopy can stay safe. Exton looking for the exit. Well done. Pred finds another over the middle. Awakening still holding over towards stage side, but he has to play an aggressive angle to make sure no one hops on for the defuse. And Pred's already found shots in. This is going to put a ton of pressure. And Cammy from top window isn't going to have a full angle at this, so someone's going to have to check for the defuse. Awakening is going to go bottom stage, and oddly enough, this timing may work out for him because Vegas are in no position to actually follow up and find the eliminations they need.
Fred could not find Awakening. He's just got so lost on the map, stalling out so much time. And when they had him absolutely one shot, you were committing on that gunfight. Just could not locate Big Wake. Sneaking his way through bottom stage. Staying alive, eventually turning that into a one-on-one and then walking away with it while Cammy hits the rotation on the opposite side for the second one-on-one gunfight. Just easy for Boston. Once they found that opening kill, get the objective down, even though Vegas were instantly there to collapse on them, just finessing right there out of Awakening secures the round.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very dangerous spot for Boston to be after the post plant, but Vegas not opting to play for the objective. Open the window for Boston to take those long routes, and it works out nicely. To a 4-2 count we go for round number 7. Cammy looking for a long crossing angle at B. He's also making sure Snoopy gets a free route, but you cannot die there. With Snoopy playing forward across the minimap, you just cannot die there if you're Cammy, and the numbers after the entire exchange in the first 30 seconds favors that of the Falcons.
Yeah, you know Snoopy's all the way across the map, so let's just instantly get this objective down. Just got to choose the proper angle if you're RCDs, and he spots him.
Yep, and the stun will come through. Nade for Snoopy does land, but doesn't find a kill. Nice shots from Snoop. Turns away. Arcides to the 1v1 now. And a pivotal one this would be for the map. Snoopy. Oh my! It's over the ambulance. And that's an SMG player smoking a world champ on the other side off a heady. Whoa, mercy.
And that's not even Arcides' fault. Like, it's literally not his fault. If you're Pred sitting there at stage, Arcides instantly gets the information. All you're trying to do is stall out time. Give ourselves an advantage to have both people shooting him instead of one, but Pred hard commits on the gunfight, gives up his life, and then at that point, Snoopy just had the power position. Just needed the regen to come on in before he fully commits on the gunfight again. And Arcides just stood no chance there. Vegas threw that one away, and Boston secure that round.
Wow. Clean shots nonetheless, though, from Snoopy. So 4-3. And Boston find a way to win another and get us tied up. Trophy system down. Xnid seen on the crossover towards the bleachers. Quick route starting to develop here for Snoopy on top of that. But he's got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. Door will pop. Stun is out. Sees him in the corner. Should be a freebie, and it is. Oh, what a hit from Xnid.
That's massive. Like, you're not expecting him to get a trade there.
No.
The fact that he makes it a 3v3, now Pred can get active on the pitch, and the glass breaking right behind him. He strikes. Now you just want to get out, but Awakening there for the trade, 2v2.
And Cammy's also pushed up over towards B to try to create, again, an avenue to try to get into the B point. The question will be, how does Awakening rotate through this? Arcides does not see that cross through mid. Cammy up top. Big 1v1 win. And now it's just down to Priesta. He is incognito at the moment. No one has any idea where he's at. Haven't seen him yet this round. So maybe a moment of caution here for Boston. And in that moment, Priesta, well, gets a read on the timing of the rotation. Just can't quite find the shots to land. And that's going to be Boston now tying us up at 4.
Oh, man, just slowly finding picks on the map. They start off with the first blood. Make up for the team kill coming in. And eventually, when they make it into a 2v2, just isolate that one player. Priesta stands no chance off the timing. Just simply going to get outnumbered, and Boston able to tie the game.
Wow. How quickly things can change.
How to team kill self-made.
Yeah. All right, need to see something here from Vegas. They have gotten a lot of success planting the bomb to this point. Post-plant foiled in their most recent attempt, but outside of that, they've been good at getting a read of what the defense is doing, but this will be new. Purge has not made this play yet. Awakening watching over the hedges is also playing more aggressively than we've ever seen Boston set up on their defense at this point.
Yeah, they're keeping Priesta at bay. He knows that he has to watch his pick angle. He just doesn't know how many players are on this side of the map, so the rotation starting to come in for Vegas. Gonna slowly work your way on up, and it all depends on what timing Snoopy gets.
Shots messy, but still enough for a 1-for-1. Cammy following up. Big gunfight win versus Pred. No trade. Cammy will also read the bomb has rotated back over towards the 8th side of the map, where Purge has already taken that aggressive position from the beginning of the round and moved forward, leaving Xnid in a very impossible situation. But a big win onto Awakening actually puts some stressor onto the defense who are playing from the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, we just got to get this bomb down as quick as possibly can. because you know the other guys are already across the map. So let's just make the play come to me. Gonna invest it over towards B. Cammy's not gonna be able to spot the exit, so Exner just gotta finesse.
Gonna work this together are the two defenders for Boston. Exnid might just come flat out, just down to timing. Here's the retake of the site. They've cleaned it all up. Timing on the defuse. Exnid playing for the diffuser, finds the first, slips away. Trying to reset. Purge on the other side, just throwing shoulders. Exnid trying to again play off the. Oh! Win from Exnid! Had to have been at most 30 HP. Purge hit him dead to rights. And Exit just kills the timing. A little cheeky slide out, perfect centering. And Exit is now on 11-6, and the Falcons are on match point.
Oh man, poppin' takeover Exit with the 1v3 to put the Falcons at game point, 16 HP in a dream. Just the extendo slide catches Mr. Purge off guard. And that is a massive round. Also an ace out of Exnid. The rookie making plays, potentially for the game.
And now we're just gonna send it. Double hit immediately in towards Ticket. Trophy system there. Exnid still gonna force this play forward. Catches Cammy on the exit. Follow from Preto denied. Purge, yeah, makes up for the 1v1 loss there. Numbers now good for Boston as they will take a pause with 60 seconds on the clock.
Priest, they're gonna run right into you. So if you can find one and back out with your life, make it a 2v2. It's gonna be more manageable, but let's just make sure we're spotting the cross. You get info into Awakening, you spot Purge. You know the play's at A. We gotta double team them.
Nades over the top. There's no trophy system here. Oh, but they don't land. They're too short. It's now post plant. Snoopy very healthy over the top of the site. RC's down to 13 health. Priest is still watching over his left. There's the regen. Here comes the second attempt. Lots of damage again being puddled in. Priest is trying to save a life, and he's been good at that. So now it's just down to the 2v2. Purge over the backup. Purge for 1. Purge for 2. And it's going to be Boston sending us to around 11.
Oh my God. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Exnid tried to heat check himself on this round. He strikes for the first blood, but his teammates fall around him. And then Boston were taking space in towards Ticket to give themselves the man advantage. But then Purge times that flank beautifully once the objective goes down to catch the double and force round 11. Who is going to be the team in defense? Who is going to be the team on offense? I feel like Vegas's defenses have been a struggle. And they're going to be the team on defense, so we got to figure it out.
Yes, you do. Boston, on the other hand, trying to get some creation over towards this front play at B. You saw the round 11 stats. Not good from either team, but this feels different. Snoopy making his play forward. He's got help. It's got a lot of help, but wait, Vegas are actually in a really good spot to try to contest this. Exnid from inside, but Arcitys drops early. Now Exnid kind of has to just play whack-a-mole here and just pop up and surprise this Boston offense, which has not committed for a plant yet. Does he find timing to line him up here? No, Snoopy slides through, finds the kill. Fred trying to hold on to the doorway as much as he possibly can. Gets the trade. Does he slip away? No, and the follow-up kill is there. Boston able to come back, get to around 11, take it quickly, and secure a reverse sweep, breaking the hearts of the Vegas Falcons.
Oh, that's an absolute breakdown there for Vegas because you had the numbers to try to retake. Arcitys just gets caught off guard. And then when that first gunfight goes down, Exner's just trapped. He was just banking on the timing there. You can already see it on Arcitys' face. He knows how important this match was. That now puts Vegas Falcons at 1-4. Our losers bracket is basically locked up on that end going into Major 3. But damn, that's gotta feel so tough, man. Because you played the first 2 maps perfect. You scammed on the last 2 maps. But then that final S&D, once Exnid gave you that 1v3 to put you at game point, you think you were gonna get success here for your very second win so far on the season. But it just does not happen. Boston's still in the way.
And it puts them immediately for Boston into the running for a possible top seed with a multi-team tiebreaker situation going to come through. But again, the biggest story here for Boston is that it's another